Hey guys, Dynasty Warrior 6 here again with the retrospective of 2012. It's all the great game finds that I've occurred over the last year. I went through my collection and went through a lot of the video games I've gotten and just kind of decided which ones were the best ones out of all of them. A lot of this stuff came from Portland Retro, but some of this stuff came from game finds, just like thrift stores, Goodwill. So we're just going to kind of jump right into it real quickly. But I also wanted to mention first straight off is that Jason and Dr. Reaper Zero, Camman Jason and Dr. Reaper Zero are going to be doing a live stream fairly soon here. I think in the next at least 2 to 3 days, around there. I don't know exactly when. That's what they were saying by chance. And they're going to show some of their great stuff and just kind of chat and see how it goes. So anyways, there'll be more about that later, possibly in another video. But anyways, we'll see what happens there. We'll just jump right into it. So we're going to start with, I think, PlayStation first. And just kind of show the rare games that I picked up throughout the year. Of course, one of my favorites I picked up was Tomba. That was a great pickup for $1.50 at a garage sale. One that came from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for $25 was a Lundra 1. Very nice to have. A recent one that was acquired, Suikoden 1. And of course, one of my just perfect condition games was Xenogears for $20 from the Craigslist deal. Also picking up this last year, was Lunar Silver Story Complete for $50. It was this lady's deceased brother's game on Craigslist. Not a bad deal. And Lunar, the Eternal Blue 2 Complete. Amazing deal, $5. Got it, I think, actually early in 2012. They're early in the year. Early to mid. But it was a really good deal for $5. It was a very incredible deal. So, Lunar 1 and 2. And that's about it for the PlayStation of really rare, uncommon gems. So next up is we'll jump into kind of the Sega CD, Sega Saturn. There wasn't much throughout the year, but we definitely tried. Sonic CD came from a kind of antique mall for like $12. I thought that was a really good deal to get. Golden Axe The Duel, which I have played. It is very hard. The sealed brand new Doom that I picked up for like $10. And this came from Old School Brian, and it was Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei. Zwei, eins Zwei, Zwei is 2 in German, if you don't know German. Anyways, and let's see, next up we'll just do the kind of handheld games. Only 2 this year, not very many. I picked up quite a few handhelds, but nothing of great worth. Picked up Pokemon Sapphire version. The reason why I'm showing this is I got it for like $3. So for a low price like that, it was really good. And this Gaia Afternoon of Darkness on PSP Black Label, of course, complete, which was a really, I think, pretty good deal on that one. Next up, for I believe Dreamcast, yep, it's Dreamcast, is a fairly rare game that a lot of people are looking for. Sadly, it's not complete, but it is just a game, and it's fairly uncommon. It's SNK Mark of the Wolf, Mark of the Wolves, Fatal Fury. It's a fairly uncommon game. I think Metal Jesus talks about this game a little bit, and he actually enjoys it, and it's I think it's one of the gems that he mentions. Next up, for GameCube, and it's just one game I picked up for like $3. I got Sonic Adventure Director's Cut DX, Player's Choice. I got it for like $2, $3, and once again, complete. Not bad. And then on Sega Genesis, definitely a great year for Sega Genesis. I added just a ton of games to my collection. You know, everyone knows I'm trying to complete it and get a complete in-box Genesis collection. So everything I've gotten this year was really helpful. Of course, Toe Jam and Earl, the first one. Gunstar Heroes, very nice to have. Thunder Force 3, which came from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Herzog Zwei, Portland Retro. Grindstormer, which is like a $70 title. Picked it up at a game store I thought it was a really good deal because I used basically store trade-in credit. Castlevania Bloodlines, I picked up at the Portland Retro for $50. And of course, the one I got in Craigslist for $25 was Shining Force 2. Really good condition box. Surprised to find it on Sega Genesis and complete and everything for such a great price. So Shining Force 2. There we go, and that's it for Sega Genesis. Next up I'll do is the Super Nintendo. Only a couple really rare or uncommon games that you see. Picked up Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World recently. It was like one of the last game finds I did, so it was real cool to get that one in at the end of the year. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, of course, is a classic, and I love having it. I've already basically beaten it, and I played it pretty religiously for a couple days, even a week or two. And one of my best finds for the year was Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinestrals, and I picked it up in a bundle at a thrift store that had like 5 additional games in it that each were like $20 games, like Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, Joe and Mac. It was just a lot of great stuff in that one bundle, but Lufia 2 was definitely the crown jewel of the whole bundle. So next up I'll do is the 360. It was only one kind of uncommon gem of a game, and it is Argos War Zero Limited Edition, or the Record of Argos War Zero. Basically a prequel to Argos War. Of course, it came entirely complete with everything. It was definitely one of the games that I was eyeing hardcore for a long time, so definitely happy to add that one in to the collection. It was the only 360 title. And then, oh, I also forgot one on Super Nintendo. I'm sorry about that. I also picked up this year Jungle Book, sealed, brand new, which was extremely uncommon. I didn't know it was sealed when I picked it up. It was like, whoa, okay, because I thought when I ordered it off shop Goodwill, it wasn't sealed, but it turns out it was. So there we go on that. Next up, I'll do is the PS3. PS3 has been a pretty good year overall. I picked up Altair Rorona as part of the Altair Mana Kema Alchemist series, so picked up that one. This came from my buddy Patrick from the Secret Santa. It was a recent acquisition near the end of the year. It was Disgaea 4. A Promise Unforgotten. Also picked up Record of Argos War 2 on PS3, limited collector's edition. So very nice to add that one in. Because I got the prequel, and then I've got the second one. And I picked up also one of the weirdest games I've ever picked up is Hyperdimension Neptunia. It's a collector's edition, and I got it from the game store GameStar, and it was just. It's a weird game, to say the very least. There's not much to say about it. Next up, that I picked up, this is probably some of the best stuff I picked up at like mostly the Portland Retro, but it was a really good stack of PS2 titles. Valkyrie Profile 2, of course, from the Portland Retro. Shining Force Neo came from the Portland Retro. Shining Tears, actually, I picked up at a video game store called Game Haven. Xenosaga Episode 3 came from GameStar. Zone of the Enders, so the second runner, came from GameStop actually, and it was only like $20. Dynasty Warriors 6, which is a very uncommon title because it was predominantly released on PS3. So, and this was like $20, $18 there, and it's usually worth $30 to $40. No, excuse me. Metal Gear Solid 3 Substance, which is just an uncommon title. It's hard to find. It took me forever to find this one this last year. Disgaea 1, Hour of Darkness. I think I got that from a Craigslist deal, as well as Disgaea 2, Cursed Memories. Those both came off a Craigslist deal. Suikoden 4, this was amazing to find the manual for it and complete it. I bought it for, I think, a couple dollars, and then I got the manual late, just like a month later or something like that, so very lucky to complete this game. Mana Kema Alchemist, Alchemist of Alrez. Very cool title to have and add in. The guy who I bought it from, I also bought the Xenogears from off Craigslist. Really friendly guy, and he was really willing to work out a deal for us. And also Altair Iris 2, which is part of the Altair series. It's been going on since PS2 to PS3, and I think a little bit of 360, but predominantly Sony. So that's it for the PS2 stack right there. And then the last game that I think was definitely one of my best finds for 2012, and it was an amazing find, picking up Mega Man 6. Now I didn't pick it up complete. I picked up the cartridge early in the year, probably during the summertime, I think. And then what happened was, is this guy I know named John, who buys some of my like my extra stuff, like systems and stuff, had the box for Mega Man 6, and then he offered to trade the box to me with the manual and everything, because it does have the manual as well. I, of course, jumped on that very quickly, and I wanted it as much as possible. So we worked out a deal, and I eventually picked up, or completed my Mega Man 6. So now I've got Mega Man 6 complete in box on Nintendo, which is definitely my rarest Nintendo game currently. I am trying to find other ones, but they are difficult to find, to say the very least. So, and then, of course, I think one of my favorite events in the 2012, or two of my favorite events in 2012 were definitely, of course, the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, meeting the Game Chasers and NES Complex and Faded to Black, and Classic Team, and a lot of great guys like 8-Bit Eric and Metal Jesus Rocks, and seeing Gamester 81. A lot of those guys were great to meet and talk to and know, and just get to know really well. And then the next one, I think, was the Emerald City Comic Con, where I met also Brit5091, and she's friendly and funny. We both have the same interest of Dragon Age. We're both huge fans of Dragon Age, as well as she's really friendly, and she helped me out finding games a little bit. Though I think she went back right after she told me the location of where the games were at. But overall, those two events were definitely highlights this year for me. This last year for me. Not this year. This year just started. It was amazing throughout the year. We met a lot of great people, got to meet a lot of great guys on Craigslist. We had some deals fall through, though. Of course, you know, I think Jason had issues with Earthbound again. Like, I think we actually got close again once, and of course, somebody, you know, ruined it. You know, somebody sold it, or it was just asking way too much. So it's always a problem with us and Earthbound and stuff. So we're still trying to get Earthbound. We're still trying to find it. It is one of our, I think, probably most highly sought after title, besides a few others. Like, really, I think that's what Jason's predominantly looking for right now. I think he would say that Earthbound is superseding even Mega Man X3 regarding his collection, like what he wants to find. But anyways, that was about it. I don't know, there was a lot that happened this year. I went to a friend's wedding, and that's about it. You know, family birthdays, of course. And my brother Matthew had a lot of stuff happen to him this year with an ex-girlfriend. That was crazy. But nothing really happened with us here too bad, really. I know like 2 years ago we had a fire in our apartment complex, but that's nothing now. So this year was relatively a quiet year for us. You know, just game hunting, trying to find games, add them into the collection. The collection has definitely gotten huge. It's exploded. And it's amazing. So definitely Dr. Reaper Zero, and check out Camman Jason's and Dr. Reaper Zero's channels. I know one of the two will have the live streaming video eventually. They'll probably make a bulletin maybe, saying maybe when it's going to happen, either on Facebook or on YouTube or something like that. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I might be appearing in this live streaming video as well, so we'll see what happens. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you for another year.